Good morning, FedPhoenix fam. So today I'm going to make a video about Rdap. I think I made a video about Rdap on my first YouTube channel before I went to prison, and that's pretty accurate. I honestly can't think of anything in that video that's not accurate, but I wanted to do a short video on this channel, a new video, since I've been to prison and I have more of a first-hand, for lack of a better term, view of Rdap, which I did not do Rdap, and I'm gonna tell you why. And a lot of people don't do Rdap that could, and I'm gonna explain that as well. So let me tell you why people don't. Well, first let's start with what is Rdap. Rdap stands for Residential Drug Abuse Program, right? So what Rdap is they'll have their own housing unit, in your prison. And it's a program that is voluntary. You can, you can't go to it, you can't be forced into it, and you can't be punished, I don't think, for not doing it. I'm fairly positive. I'm not sure if it can affect your FSA credit eligibility if the prison wants you to do it and you refuse. I know that if you get kicked out of Rdap, you can lose FSA credits. So that's something to think about. And then another part of Rdap that a lot of people don't know about or don't give any thought to is if you get time off because you completed Rdap, and Rdap is about a 10-month program. It can be longer, depending on the individual. But if you finish Rdap and you get time off, right, and you come home, you then have to do what is called TDAP, which is Therapeutic Drug Abuse Program, I believe. Anyway, we're basically for 6 months after you come home, you're back in the free world, and I think even the halfway house would include this, but you have to do follow-up drug treatment, which I think for most people is like meetings and stuff, NAA, that kind of thing. But you got to keep in mind that when you come home, you're going to be very busy. You're going to be very overwhelmed. And for some people, the fact that, that because if you come home and you don't do the TDAP, or you do some of it but you don't do the full 6 months, then you lose the time you got off your sentence for Rdap, and you're required to serve that prison time. You lose that time, you know what I mean? So unless you're really going to do the whole program and come home and do the whole TDAP, you've really wasted your time and energy by even going down that rabbit hole. Now you may be wondering, well, that's not pleasant, so why would anyone even want to do it, right? I'm gonna tell you why. So if you are getting FSA credits, if you're FSA eligible, right, one of the requirements to be earning credits is that you be compliant with doing programming and or a work assignment, right? And like, I was at a working camp and people weren't getting their FSA credits if they just worked, even though how it's written you should. But the prisons do what they want, the feds do what they want. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? You had to also be programming as well to be compliant with programming, which meant you were either in programming or you were on waiting list for programs, or both. But some people have asked me, well, when I'm in Rdap, am I still FSA compliant because I can't take additional programming, while in Rdap? And the answer is yes. Because you were in Rdap, that is considered FSA compliant programming. Now, the golden egg, right, to the Rdap situation, that the goose lays and it tends to entice everybody, is if you complete Rdap, you can get up to being the key term here, a year off your sentence and up to 6 months additional halfway house. I have not seen anyone ever get additional halfway house from completing Rdap. I don't even know where that actually has ever happened. And other people I've talked to that I didn't do time with, I did time, and separately, also never saw anyone get extra halfway house time because of Rdap. Generally, your halfway house time is going to be 10% of your original sentence or 6 months, whichever is less. Like, I had a 24-month sentence, so my automatic halfway house time, part of my sentence I would be serving the halfway house, when I came to prison, was a little under 2.5 months. So, because that's 10%. But with FSAs, because these kind of things kind of overlap in a lot of areas, you can earn a year off your sentence, and you can also earn, after you've done that, if you have a long enough sentence to earn more, you can also earn an additional 6 months halfway house. And I have seen people getting that, so that is a reliable thing. But with Rdap specifically, so a lot of people think, well, when I get to prison, right, I'm gonna go to Rdap immediately, and because I'll be earning FSAs, by the time I complete the Rdap, between Rdap giving me a year off and my FSAs, I'll be going home. Sweet honeys. You don't get to go into prison and go, oh, I want to do RDAP, and then they move your bed that night. No. They have to interview you. They'll look at your PSI, right, and see if there's any documented history of substance abuse. Part of the qualifications per the BOP, per the feds for RDAP. Now, mind you, some places, they don't even follow these. You know, they may be more lenient or they may be more strict. But you had to have been a substance abuser when you committed your crime, right? And you had to have relapsed or still been an active substance abuser within a year of, I think it's your sentencing. Some people have said sentencing, some people have said, you know, the day you go to prison, but I think it's your sentencing in order to qualify. Now, granted, like I said, some places, they don't care about any of that. They just want to fill the beds and get the money. Other places, they are super duper strict on it, and they will check your PSI for this. A lot of people say, well, my judge, I don't have any of that in my PSI, but my judge recommended RDAP, so therefore I'll go to RDAP. They don't care what the judge recommends. The BOP doesn't give one small iota if your judge recommended RDAP, if he recommended a particular facility, if he recommended particular programming. None of that matters to the feds once you get to prison. Not even the smallest bit. It's nice, you know, it's nice to say, well, my judge wanted me to be able to do this, or my judge wanted this to be my situation. But once he sentenced you and you leave that courtroom, that's where his power stopped. He has zero power for what happens when you're incarcerated or where you're incarcerated. So, you know, please don't overestimate, you know, don't think that the federal prisons are like, oh, well, we normally do this, but because her judge said we're going to do, no, they don't care. Not at all, let me tell you. Now, a person like me, right, I had a 2-year sentence. So now when I went in, it was very unique circumstances because it was the height of COVID. So it wasn't like I went in, I was in regular general population and things were normal operation. No, I went in, I was in a quarantine unit for months. And see, you got another thing about RDAP is different at different places. I know a gentleman who did time in a camp, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want the prison to change its policies, you know, as a result of this. But I know a guy who did time in camp, and he did RDAP, and he said they would actually plan ahead of time, you know, what their pull-ups for the day are going to be, which is basically where every morning the whole unit gets together and they do what they call pull-ups, hold each other accountable, which is basically where you just snitch on other people in front of everybody. You know, oh, this person, you know, has too many soaps, or oh, this person washed their socks in the shower last night, or, you know, whatever. For that little detail is a big turnoff, you know, in regards to the program for a lot of people. For me, it certainly is like, ick. You know, I don't want people looking over my shoulder all day for something to go snitch on in front of me, and I can't do anything about it because it's just, this is what I signed up for. But it's a small thing if RDAP is truly going to be beneficial for you, either because you truly need drug treatment, or because, you know, you really, you know, are going to actually do the program and get through it to get that time off. And you can earn once you complete RDAP, right? Some people have asked me, well, if I'm already getting FSA credits for being an RDAP, right? When I complete RDAP, do I still get time off my sentence because I got time off, you know, for the fact that I was there through FSA? The answer is yes, absolutely. So this gives you a chance to kind of double dip in the time off pool, which is, of course, very alluring, you know, for everybody. Heck, it's alluring for me. But the reason why I did not do RDAP, first, I don't actually have a substance abuse issue at all, in all reality. A lot of people kind of, you know, fake it through there, which is not hard to do. There are people doing RDAP because they have a marijuana problem. I mean, come on. But, you know, and I definitely considered it. But by the time that my unit was starting to get interviewed for possible RDAP, the quarantine unit, I had already been there, I think, 3 or 4 months. And I was under the impression that I would be going home in 6 months because of CARES Act, because I should have. Although I actually did 16 months, but that's another story for another day. So for me, I'm like, why would I? Because, you know, and this is what I'm saying, RDAP's different at different prisons. So to go back, my guy friend that was at camp that did RDAP at a particular men's camp said that they would plan ahead of time, you know, what the pull-ups were going to be, so no one ever, you know, felt any type of way about it. You know, it was always pre-planned. It was just kind of, you know, going through the motions for the sake of the staff, you know, to get through it and get the credit and go on. You know, he said, you know, they pretty much did what they want. And, you know, everything was very, very carefully orchestrated by the inmates to give the illusion that they were following this strict program, although they weren't at all. And it was all just basically a game to them. And that friend, by the way, the one I have in mind, because I have a few guy friends that went to camp and did RDAP, but that particular one, I'm confident is again a substance abuser in the free world, just saying. And he had a legitimate substance abuse problem before prison. Alderson, Rdap is not that barrel of bunnies and roses. They're very strict. The people will definitely snitch on you. You know, they'll do their pull-ups, you know, and blindside you with that nonsense. You know, they can't, like, when you're in regular population during the day, when you're not like working or in classes or whatever, you know, or if it's your day off from work, you don't have any classes to do or whatever, you know, you have the option of, you know, laying on your bunk. I mean, you can't like be under your blankets most of the time, you know, but you can lay down on your bed and read. You can take a nap. You can watch some TV in the TV room. Rdap doesn't get to do that. They can only watch TV after programming hours, after 5 p.m. And I don't know if it's different on the weekends for them, but in Alderson during the week, after 5 p.m., before that, no TV. They cannot nap during the day on their bunks, like the rest of us can. I don't even know if they can be laying down technically. You know, and again, it's a program, like you're being programmed, like literally from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, you know, the fact that you're an RDAPper is dictating every single thing you do. Largely a crap load of groups, a crap load of, you know, when maybe you're tired or you don't feel good. Well, guess what? There are going to be times where they say, oh, we're all going to sing and clap and smile. You have to do it. Literally, that's really a thing. I am not cut out for that. Not at all. But again, if you're someone who truly needs to be reprogrammed because you have a legitimate substance abuse issue, or if you're someone who has such an extensive sentence that it makes sense and you know what I mean, and you're willing to jump through the hoops and do what you need to do to get the time off, I encourage you and support you 100%. But like I said, with me, by the time they even were doing interviews for Rdap for people in my unit, I mean, usually this is done pretty quick when you come to prison. But again, because of COVID, things were very different. Matter of fact, the whole camp was on lockdown. You know, I think the first 3 or 4 months that I was there. But anyway, so by the time they came in to do interviews, I was like, no thank you. I'm going home in a few months because of CARES. So, you know, have a nice day. Well, by the time I realized that the dirty warden at the time, which there's another one now, was not going to sign off on my CARES because of her personal prejudice, you know, contrary to what Congress had, you know, determined, you know, the guidelines of the CARES Act. My thought was, well, okay, that's fine. You know, I was still getting FSA credits. With FSA alone, in good time, I would max out at 14 months, right? So I was thinking, worst case scenario, I'm 14 months to the door. Then I was like, I'm going to do my admin remedies about this CARES because even though she won't give it to me, right? So I got to do the 9 and wait and blah, blah, blah. But once I do the 10, the one that goes to regional, once I get to the step where I can do the 11, the one that goes to Washington, I'll definitely be an automatic, yes, you qualify for CARES, yes, you're going home. So at this point, too, I'm also thinking, you know, by the time I found out I wasn't going home at the 6-month mark with CARES, I thought, well, I'll do the admin remedies and literally at any point, someone's going to do their job and I'll be going home. So in my mind, if I would have did Rdap, I would have basically just put myself in a situation to make whatever time I had left there far more stressful and difficult for me. And I wasn't volunteering for that because I was already, you know, I was already dealing with a lot. There was a lot going on with me personally, like mentally and physically, and the lack of medical care at that point was starting to have its effects. But in addition to that, there was a lot going on with my people in the free world at that time, which really compounded my stress and my, you know, my mind state just not being conducive to me kind of, you know, going through the motions for the sake of completing Rdap. And I really honestly was kind of hesitant to even consider it from jump before I even went to prison because I knew about TDAP. And I really wanted to be able to come home and as quickly as possible, just get back to living my life with no residual elements from my incarceration, or as little as possible. So, but Rdap is a great program if you are someone who truly has a drug abuse problem. And if, for people that really have a problem, places like Alderson, their Rdap program is great, wonderful. You know what I mean? For people that don't really have a problem, but they have a fairly long sentence and they you know, their whole motive is to get the extra time off, places like where my buddy did prison time, that Rdap is perfect for you. Go in, play the game, get out, get your time off. Unfortunately, when we go to prison, we don't get to choose where we go. Sometimes we don't even get to choose where we get, you know, transferred to. Well, you never get to choose, but I'm saying sometimes you get transferred, you know. So the Rdap at the facility you go to at any given time, the culture of the program, which will largely determine how stressful it is or how difficult it is, can't really be predicted. Because even though RDAP was a nightmare, in my opinion, when I was there, you know, for people like myself, although for some people, like I said, it was conducive, that, you know, they have a different warden now. You know, they're going to have staff that new staff come, old staff go. You know, ain't no telling what it is now. And just like where my friend did his time, that program may now be super strict and, you know, super regimented and super organized. And in which case, I guarantee if he ever had to go back there, he would not do the program, because he's just not a person that does well with structure. But yeah, you can earn FSA credits, you know, with, and RDAP, and you get if you graduate RDAP, you get time off for RDAP, right? Another thing too, I wanted to say is, you know, if you have a shorter sentence, like I did 2-year sentence. So if I would have done RDAP, I would not have gotten a year off my sentence. It isn't like if if it was like normal non-COVID times and I went in and let's say, you know, within a month or two of being there, I get put in RDAP, and then I've completed RDAP in 11 months. And so that leaves 8 more months, you know, if you don't count good time, 8 more months on my sentence, that they're just going to knock that off and take off time off my probation too, the other 4 months. First off, you can't earn time off probation through anything that goes on in the prison or the halfway house. And 2, they would have probably only gave me like 6 months off, if that. Because you don't really get the 12 months off for completing RDAP unless you have a longer sentence. I think maybe if you have a 3-4 year sentence, that's possible. Definitely 5 years and up it is. But if you have a shorter sentence, like if you have a 2-year sentence, you're not going to get a year off because you did RDAP. You're not. You're going to get like 6 months off your sentence. Now, of course, you know, like I said, if you're earning FSA credits, you're also earning FSA credits while you're there. But you would have been doing that even if you weren't there. So I don't want to, you know, mesh the two any more than they naturally overlap. If you're a person who's thinking that, okay, I'm going to do RDAP, I'm going to get this time off, whatever they'll give me, heck, I'm going to do it. You know, definitely the drug treatment, DT, I want to say they're drug treatment supervisors, drug treatment specialists. I don't know. They're like a special worker you have because you're in the RDAP program that specifically pertains to drug abuse. That person needs to be confident that you have a substance abuse issue, as does the person, which is usually someone from the psychology, who does your RDAP interview when you first get to prison. And I'm not telling you to lie. I'm not telling you to do anything, you know, whatever. I'm just throwing that information out there in a very general way to just let you know that these are parameters that need to be met, you know, to ensure that you can actually get into the program if that's what you want to do. I know that their phone calls are more monitored, their emails are more monitored. You know, again, it's just not something, I'm just not a person who would do well under those conditions, and I'm not a person that even needs the program. But, you know, some people do. And for those that it helps, great. And really, for everyone who graduates and gets time off their sentence, assuming they come out and do their TDAP and don't lose that, wonderful. That is kudos to you, because, you know, anything that gets you out of prison a day, a minute, a second earlier, that doesn't involve harming other people, I 100% strongly stand up, support, and clap for. So that's that. I gotta go. You know, whatever you're going through right now, remember, it is a slice of your life, and you will get through it because you have to. In the description will be a link to the merch line for FedPhoenix. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt or a coffee cup or whatever. Additionally, y'all know I'm working on my first book. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal information will be in the description as well. So I guess that's it for now. You know, I know I haven't posted in a while, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to get back on top of it. I'm doing amazing after my surgery. Y'all know I had surgery a little over a month ago. And yeah, I'm in a good place. So I will check in again later, but I just wanted to do a short video on RDAP just to kind of give an overview and stuff for people, because I get a lot of questions about RDAP. So good day. God bless.